Welcome to another special episode of the WCPO High School Insider podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dyer. We are live at the Western Hills Chick-fil-A on Glenway Avenue. Going to be highlighting some area high school football teams today, including Elder, Western Hills, and Oak Hills, joined by my colleague, Caleb No.
Hey,
Caleb, how are you?
Everybody. Yeah, I'm doing well, man. Yeah, doing well. It seems like we just got done with one yesterday, and we're firing away with this episode number 2 out of 3 here.
Back at it again, talking high school football. Great time of the year, as August always is. I want to remind everybody this High School Insider podcast is presented by our local Chick-fil-A restaurants, where the winning play for August is the Chicken Club Sandwich. Go for the extra point with a side of their macaroni and cheese. And before we start, I want to give a shout out and thank you to Western Hills Chick-fil-A operator Jason Griggs and director Jeff Diener for this opportunity for hosting the episode. I had a conversation with Jeff just a few minutes ago and been really hospitable, and I want to genuinely thank you for this opportunity to highlight our high school coverage here. So thank you again, Jeff. Well, first up, we're going to talk to Elder. We got head coach Doug Ramsey, along with seniors Ben Hambleton and Drew Ramsey. And Coach, thanks for doing this again, first of all. Thanks for being here. You were here 2 years ago with us here on the Insider. And I guess just give us an update on how the Panthers are looking this summer.
Well, you know, it's a work in progress. It's such a strange, we've talked about such a strange year in trying to prepare. You know, you think we're allowed to do a lot of stuff in June and July, but really practice-wise in pads, we've been very limited. You know, we actually had to start on a Sunday because we're going to scrimmage on Friday, so that was a strange thing, and really only had 2 full days of contact. So it like I said, it's a work in progress, but I think we're making good strides.
Obviously, unlimited practice days per the OHSA rule this year. It happened last year as well, but you know, from June 1st to July 31st, there's really no limitation. In past years, there was a 10-day limitation. But has that changed your mindset, Coach, at all in terms of, you mentioned, you know, you get things going on Sunday and it's a quick turnaround. I mean, how do you kind of process that as a coaching staff?
You know, it did change it a little, not a lot. You know, we didn't practice a ton in June. You know, we would go Monday for an hour after lifting, hour and a half Wednesday. Same, but it would be a whole squad. It was freshman through senior, you know. So we were out there just doing a lot of skills and, you know, and things like that. And then we went into our regular routine. We've always saved our 10 days for the last 2 weeks of July, and then we kind of install everything and then roll that right into 2 days. Now this year we only went 8 days with that, and actually gave them a couple days off before we started on the 1st.
You actually touched on what I was just about to ask, and that is, did it change the way you install things coming into the season, being that you had to kind of change that schedule around? Was your install any different coming into the season?
You know, for us it really wasn't. We obviously, in the beginning when we were doing the skills, we were still installing things that we normally wouldn't have done in June. So I think we were a little bit ahead, and that's why we really at the end went 8 days, because I think we were in pretty good shape with getting all the things in that we wanted to get in at that point in time. And actually, it really kind of got. We tried to keep it from being drudgery for the players. You know, there's only so much football that you can play in shorts and it still be kind of fun. Like at some point in time, you got to put the pads on and you got to play football and prepare for somebody else. So that's the one thing that we were worried about most, was we didn't want to create boredom or the thought that those kids who, you know, maybe this is their first or second year playing, or the freshmen, that it was so much in June. You know, when they're still trying to play some AU basketball, be on a baseball team, those kinds of things, we wanted the kids to still be able to do those types of things as well.
I know you're an offensive guy. Let's talk about the offense first, and what you like most about the group that you have returning.
Well, with the group, what I like most about the group returning is 2 guys sitting next to me. You know, that they both were a big part of what we did last year. You know, Ben at quarterback had a really, you know, productive season, took care of the football. You know, he ended up throwing for a lot of yards, and I think he's made great strides. I think probably most, and in fact, he's become a really, really good leader for us. You know, so, you know, I think he's gotten better as an athlete. He understands things more, and he's a great leader. You know, and then having Drew back, you know, Drew running, receiving, actually, throwing a few passes. Probably will throw the ball a little bit more this year, last year than he did last year. So, having these two guys back, I think is in their work ethic for other guys to see. I can always use them as examples. And, we've got, Evan James is back and Mikey Kurtz, who played some tight ends, back, and Luke Flowers will be our tailback, but he didn't play much tailback last year. He started on defense, so we've got some pieces there, but we've got a lot of battles actually. Right now I'd say the only guy that's a starting wide receiver is Drew. So the other guys are fighting for the other 3 to 4 spots. So it'll be interesting. That's why I think tomorrow night's going to be really exciting for a lot of our guys, is because we talked about today and we've talked about all the way through. This is this opportunity to earn a job. You always talk about team and what we can do for the team, but this time of the year you got to be a little bit selfish, because you want to play. You want to be a starter, so you need to go out and perform and you need to do well. Obviously, it's in the framework of what we're doing, but you got to make plays so that I say, the other coaches say, we got to get that guy in the field.
Ben, you're established, obviously, as the starting quarterback, but, what is a scrimmage at Lakota West tomorrow night? What does that do for you? What do you try to get out of it, and maybe also for your teammates as well?
Oh, yeah, their defense is really good. They have 2 corners that are really lengthy and physical, and they know how to play really well. For us, the biggest thing is going to be to just be able to get open and then protect the ball. It'll show what we can do against a really good team like them. They have a great defense. I think this will help put us in the right direction of what we need to do and how we can go from there.
Ben, Dyer mentioned you are the established starting quarterback. When you look at the experience that you've had as a quarterback in high school and where you're at right now, do you see the game differently now than you did maybe a year or 2 ago? Has it, I don't know, the term that everybody uses, the phrase that everybody wants to use is that the game slows down. Maybe that's a cliche way to ask it, but has the game slowed down to you?
Yeah, for sure. Last year, I feel like I was getting introduced to everything, but this year you basically know what you're reading on every play. So I basically know where I'm going to go with the ball before I even take the snap. So that's helped a lot. Also, just throwing to guys that you're used to throwing, and then like last year you were put into a situation where it was your first year starting, so now I have some experience under my belt, so the whole thing has just slowed down for me, and it's become a lot easier in my eyes before the play starts.
And Caleb, I was out there at Elder in late June, and Ben told me he was throwing a little bit with Peyton Ramsey, and kind of how did Peyton really kind of help you with a few of the tips, I guess, to prepare for a season?
Yeah, for sure. Peyton really focuses on little things, so proper route depth. He helped the receivers out a lot on that. And then with me, basically just who I'm reading on each play and then how to get the ball in their hands is the best way possible and fast as possible. So he helped me a lot through the summer.
Drew, you haven't said a word yet because we haven't asked you anything yet, but tell us a little bit about what you like most about this team this year.
I just like how we have so many guys that are just willing to buy in to we have such good coaches that know exactly what they want, and we have so many guys that know what they want to do, and we just gotta buy in.
Kind of like a similar question I asked Ben. What do you get out of this scrimmage tomorrow night? Is there a certain thing that you want to take away from it, or you've been at this long enough that you're going to be battle tested for the season? But what is it that you try to get as a takeaway?
I think we're just trying to take away who our guys are going to be. Honestly, we have so many dudes competing for so many spots because we have a lot of spots open, and we're just trying to find out who it's going to be.
Obviously, the Pit is such a unique place to play a high school football game, maybe the most unique anywhere. What stuck out to you the most last year? I remember last year walking through Ural Stadium, and it was like you had the aisles almost in the stadium that fans had to walk. It was like one-way walking paths, and you had players up in the bleachers. It was just such a unique setting. What stood out to you the most last year as being different?
Well, I'll start with my sophomore year. It was just crazy because it was always so loud, and every game was packed. And then last year, there was just no one there. It was silent. You could literally hear what the coaches were saying on the sideline, which was just so much different. We just weren't used to it.
I got to imagine it's exciting to think that you should have fans back this fall. I mean, that's got to be exciting to think. How much does that change the way that I don't know, the mood or the excitement walking into the stadium?
Oh yeah, it's when you know you're gonna have 10,000, not 10,000, 8,000 fans there. It changes the game so much. Gives you so much more momentum to go out there and just
try to perform as well.
Yeah,
as
just
you can.
perform.
Yeah. Defensively, Coach, what do you see on that side of the ball?
I think we'll be greatly improved on defense. Experienced guys back at all levels. I think secondary wise, Bartley Thomas is back and there's another guy that played 2 years ago. He's playing corner in the state championship game, and Chris Kammer is back as a corner. I think we're solid there. As soon as he's banged up a little bit right now, and he won't play tomorrow night. But having those two guys at corner, and Nicholas Paff is a guy who also played a little bit as a sophomore in the state championship game. Having those kind of guys back. Andrew Spinney probably was our leading tackler last year, back at linebacker, and Samari Freeman, he's our nose back and started every game as a sophomore last year. So I think we've got some good experience, and I think we've got some depth. I think our front guys we may play 6 or 7 guys in those 3 spots. We feel like we've got that much depth, senior through sophomore, to roll them through. So I think could be a big plus for us.
Coach, you all had some exciting ones last year. I mean, any season opener has a lot to live up to when you look at last year's season opener, and then you all had the Fairfield game later on in the season. But that type of battle test, if you will, getting your guys out there, testing them in that type of environment. You got a lot of guys coming back, like you mentioned. How do games like that bode for those guys moving forward?
Well, I think it's big to be involved in those. You look at the 2 games that we lost that were, LaSalle and X games. LaSalle game double overtime. The X game we're winning in the fourth quarter. And then we get into the playoffs, and we have Princeton and Fairfield games that are very similar, but we won those games. And I think that's part of everything that we do. Our schedule. People look at me sometimes like, you guys are crazy, the teams that you play. Some of it's not by choice. Some of we're forced into doing those things. But I think at the same time, our kids love that opportunity to compete against the best. I was talking to a couple news guys today saying, for our guys, it's fun. You think they turn on the TV on a Saturday or Sunday, and we played against that guy. We played against that guy. You know what I mean? It's like those opportunities to compete against the best. And it's one thing that we talk about. We're not afraid to lose. We'll play you. If you can beat us, you beat us. We can live with that. But we're going to go out and compete. And I think our kids grow from those games, and that's why you get into a playoff game and things aren't going great for you. But hey, we've been in this situation before. We've been losing before. It's okay. It's okay. We just keep fighting, and I think that's those kind of games, those kinds of schedules, really bode well for returning players.
Elder was a regional semifinalist last year. Opened the season against visiting Covington Catholic August 20th, and then you're at Pickerington Central. I don't need to remind you that, August 27th. But Coach, before we kind of conclude here, 25th season, you're a handful of wins away from that milestone 200 win. What has Elder football meant to you and your family?
A lot, when you think about it, my family's been a big part of this. For the last, 12 years, I've had someone in the program or waiting to get into the program. So I've had 2 sons that are captains, and our captains' parents are very involved. So my wife's been around. These guys have friends, obviously. So, my wife is friends with a lot of the other parents. And so everything about it has been really, it's been our life for the last 25 years, and even before that. But I'd say even more so the last 15 years has really been it's every Friday night. Where our family's at. It doesn't matter what's going on. They're there and a part of it, and it'll always be that way. Every time Peyton was in town, he's at a game. My daughter Carly, she doesn't miss a game. Tanner, he doesn't miss a game. He's traveling everywhere to watch us play. So it's kind of who we are, and it's kind of who I am. I don't think anybody ever calls me by my name anymore. I'm just coach. It's coach, and because that's that's who I am and what I've been associated with for so long.
Drew, how much does it mean to your dad?
Oh, I mean, it definitely means a lot. He's always working. He's always, everything is about the team. He's a great coach, and I'm very, yeah, absolutely.
Drew, do you have a favorite memory from your days growing up watching your dad coach? Do you have a favorite memory of whether it's for him or just for Elder football as a whole? Not necessarily something that you've been a part of, but something that you saw growing up.
So there's one. So I was pretty young. I mean, I might not have even been alive yet, but I just saw a video of it. It was when they played that team that was like 109-1 at UC, and they won the game or whatever. And he's like storming across the field, like chest bumping all the other players. And I'm like, wow, yeah, that's what it's all about. So yeah, that was probably my favorite memory I've seen.
Good stuff. All right, now it's time for trivia. Caleb, you want
All right,
to
no
take a stab? You were the question guy.
no looking over here.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can't.
Don't
No,
want to.
can't use your phone or anything. Right?
Yeah, don't want to give this away. All right. What football? So this is about another school that's here today that we're going to talk to in just a couple minutes. What football position did Pete Rose play while he attended Western Hills High School in the 1950s? What position was Pete Rose in high school on the football field?
You got to give them the choices here.
A. Yeah, I was trying to make it harder than it actually. Yeah, no. We'll go multiple. We'll give you multiple choice. A, offensive lineman. B, halfback. Or C, defensive lineman.
I'm gonna go with halfback.
You're going halfback.
Halfback also.
Both of you going halfback. You sure about that?
I'm sure.
All right, it is halfback. They
Got it.
nailed it.
Great
Yeah,
job.
just like that. There was no hesitation
Excellent.
there. All right. So what do they get here?
And get some official Chick-fil-A guest gift cards.
There's 4 of them there. I think the other one's
Congratulations,
for me, right?
Thanks again for your time and perspective,
Thank you. Thanks
Coach.
for having us.
Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah. Good luck this season, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.